All right, folks, so we can check eye retouching off our list. But before we get into the skin, I just want to do a quick tweak on the eye retouching we just did in the previous chapter, because I'm having these eyes look back at me, and these green eyes seem to just be a little bit strong of an effect. So again, I'm just gonna bat this tip home so that you guys can remember it. Closing this disclosure arrow up here at the top of our tool, and then really taking that effect and just pulling it down slightly so it gives a little bit more of a natural look. That looks much better for my personal preference. So we'll go ahead and leave that there. And now we can move on to the skin smoothing portion. So we've gone ahead, we've covered the eyes. That's awesome. It's time to move on to the skin. So when it comes to retouching skin in Lightroom, I can choose one of my skin brushes, my skin smoothing brushes that I have created. And so if you look here, let me zoom in, see if you can zoom in here for a sec. You can see that what I've done is I've created multiple different tools for dark skin and for light skin, because I feel like dark skin and light skin actually react differently, and thus when you're trying to smooth them, they kind of need different settings in order to look natural and realistic. So for this specific image, I'm going to use Skin High Light because it's a light-skinned model in this example. So I've got my Skin High Light brush here. Let me zoom in so that you guys can see the changes that I've created to this brush so that you can create your own. And then we'll go ahead and we're going to brush this effect in all over her skin. So I do have a couple tips when doing this. The first is going to be, let's bring our flow up. Whenever I'm retouching skin, that's one time when I like to have the mask overlay visible, because I think it helps me to avoid some of the areas where I don't want to go super far with the skin smoothing. Now those areas are areas like the smile lines. I never like to have the smile lines of a client super smooth, because I think that that's an immediate kind of telltale sign of over retouching. And we'll come over here, we'll do this area, and you can see how I'm avoiding the smile lines while doing this skin smoothing. And we'll come right in here. And then we'll come down to the chin area. There we go. We are good. So now that we've created our mask, we can go ahead and press return, which is going to activate and accept the changes of the skin retouching that I just did. So really quickly, there's my light switch to show the before and after of all of the different adjustment brush changes that we've created. Okay, so this looks good, but I would kind of say, for my preference, that the skin smoothing does look a little bit heavy for my preference. So what I can do is I can activate this pinpoint because it's already created such a lovely mask for me. And if I right-click on this pinpoint, I have the option to duplicate this mask. Now, the reason why I want to duplicate this mask is not for additional skin smoothing, right? Because I said the skin smoothing was too high. But what I want to do is I want to duplicate the mask, and then I want to reset the brush, because all I want from duplicating this is the brush and the mask that's already been created. So let's go ahead and turn our mask overlay off by hitting the O key so that we can see what we're dealing with now. You can see that I have just doubled my skin smoothing for this face, but that's not what I want to do with this brush. I'll click on the pinpoint right up here, and I'm just going to slightly drag it right to the side so that I can know that this is my skin smoothing pinpoint and this is the secondary skin smoothing pinpoint that I'm about to edit. All right, so with this secondary pinpoint activated, I'll come over to my adjustment brush window, and I'll double click the effect button here which is going to basically zero out the secondary adjustment that I created. Now with this secondary adjustment that I created, what I want to do is bring back the illusion of some of the skin texture that basically we got rid of by accident. So the way that I'll do that is I'm going to increase the noise by decreasing the noise reduction slider, which immediately looks like it's bringing back a little bit of detail. And then the second thing I'm going to do is increase the sharpening just a bit, which is going to bring back some of the sharpening within those skin tones. Now we'll go ahead and press OK, and then we'll turn on the before and after. And can you guys see the difference? It definitely looks like smoothed skin, but that texture is still there. That's why I love taking skin smoothing stuff and dividing it into a 2-portion deal, or it's a 2-portion kind of task that you have to do. The first portion is going to be smoothing the skin, and the second portion is going to be bringing back anything you can do to kind of give the illusion of pretend skin smoothing, if you will. All right, so that's our section on skin smoothing. Let's move on.